Episode 003, The Life Nobody Sees. Hey, welcome back to the archive. It's 2 a.m. somewhere, and tonight I thought I would tell you about something that probably doesn't sound very interesting. My day. Not a particularly special day. Nothing extraordinary happened today. I just woke up. I went through my usual routine. I did the things I was supposed to do. I talked to people. I spent some time alone. And now, I'm here, talking to you. And I think that's exactly why I wanted to record this. Because most of our lives are made up of days like this. Days that don't make it into photographs. Days that nobody writes about. Days that aren't birthdays or celebrations or big achievements. Just ordinary days. And somehow, those days becomes our lives. I think about that sometimes. How much of our lives nobody actually sees. People see the version of you that you allow them to see. They see you when you're outside, when you're talking, when you're laughing, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but they don't see what happens after you close your door. They don't see the thoughts that come back when everything gets quiet. They don't see you staring at the ceiling at night thinking about future. They don't see you replaying conversation in your head. They don't see the things you worry about, the things you're afraid of, the things you wish you could say. And maybe that's normal. Maybe everyone has this private little world inside their head, a world that nobody else gets to visit. I think I have one too. Actually, I'm pretty sure I do. There's the person people know, and then there's the person who exists when nobody's watching. And sometimes those two people don't feel like the same person. During the day, I can be busy, I can talk, I can laugh, I can pretend I'm completely fine, and then suddenly, it's my time. Everything gets quiet. And all those thoughts I managed to ignore throughout the day, they come back like they were waiting for me. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes I think the quiet is the only time we're actually honest with ourselves. Because when nobody's around, there's no performance, no expectations, no pretending. It's just you and your thoughts. Maybe that's why I like the idea of this channel, because I'm anonymous here. You don't know my name. You don't know what I look like. You don't know where I live. You don't know what I did today. And somehow that makes it easier to tell you about my life. Which is kind of strange, isn't it? Well, it is, I guess. Like I'm telling strangers things I might never say to people who actually know me. But maybe that's the beauty of being anonymous. Sometimes you don't need someone to know your name. You just need someone to listen. So here's a little piece of my day. Today, I woke up and did what I usually do. And for a few hours, I didn't think about anything too deeply. I just existed. I went through my routine. I did what I had to do. And somewhere in between all of that, I caught myself thinking about the future again. I do that a lot. Like, I wonder where I'll be in a few years. I wonder who I'll become. I wonder if I'll still be the same person. I wonder if I'll remember these days. And then I realized something. I probably won't remember most of them. I won't remember what I ate on a random Tuesday. I won't remember every conversation. I won't remember every boring afternoon. But those moments still happened. They were still mine. And maybe that's enough. Maybe life isn't only about the big moments. Maybe it's also about the mornings when you didn't want to get out of bed. But you did anyway. The days when you felt lost, but kept going anyway. The random moments when something made you laugh. The songs you listened to on repeat. The conversation that meant more to you than the other person probably realized. The nights when you couldn't sleep. The mornings when you finally did. All of it. the beautiful parts, the ugly parts, the completely unremarkable parts. That's life too. And I think that's what I want this archive to become. A collection of all of it. Not just the days when something important happened, but the days when nothing happened at all. Because one day I might look back at this, and maybe I'll be a completely different person. Maybe I'll have a life that I can't even imagine right now. Maybe I'll have forgotten what it felt like to be me at this exact moment. And then I'll find this recording, and I'll hear my own voice, and I'll remember. I remember that once upon a time, there was a version of me who sat somewhere at 2 a.m. and talked into a microphone about an ordinary day. A day nobody else thought was important. But it was mine, and I was there. I lived it. So I think that's what today's entry is about. The life nobody sees. The little moments that disappear without making a sound. The ordinary days that quietly become our memories. Maybe that's what I'm recording them, not because they're extraordinary, but because they are mine. And maybe someday that will be enough. Anyway, that's today's entry. Nothing dramatic, nothing extraordinary, just a little piece of an ordinary life. Thanks for being here, even if you're listening to this years from now. I hope you're doing okay, wherever you are, whoever you have become, and if you're listening to this at 2 a.m., I hope you know that somewhere, someone else is probably awake too, thinking, wondering, trying to figure things out, just like you. So, I leave you with tonight's thought. Maybe the most important part of our lives aren't the moments everyone remembers. Maybe they're the moments nobody saw, but we lived anyway. This is the 2 a.m. archive N3003. I'll leave the light on for the next one. Good night.